Hi there, it's Tony and Chris. I'm Tony, he's Chris.
His new CD's in stores. It's Chris Stapleton with us.
So let's give some folks some history. I know for a lot of people, they are not familiar with you yet. They're just learning about you. We don't get a life story, but you're from Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
And decided at what age that this was your path?
I actually kind of ran into a guy through a mutual friend who was a songwriter. I didn't know that such a thing existed. I quit college because I hated everything I was doing in college and was kind of floating and playing bars till I ran out of money and then getting a real job. And so I met this guy named Steve Leslie, who was a great songwriter in town, and he was at EMI at the time, and he really just out of the goodness of his heart listened to some songs and kind of helped me along the way and encouraged me to move to town, and I did. And man, once I figured out that somebody would pay you to sit in a room on a couch and write a song, I'm like, man, I'm going to figure out how to do this or I'm going to die trying. So I just think it's the greatest job in the world to get to play music for a living.
I'd say you figured it out.
Well, I'm still working, so
right,
we're
good.
good.
Talking about writing songs for other people, you had hits with Kenny Chesney and George Strait and Darius and Adele. Is there anybody out there who's like your white whale? It's like, man, if I could get this person to record one of my songs.
Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and some of these guys that are definitely have informed country music so much and are still vital parts of making records and are important. I would love to somehow get to participate with them, whether it's a recording or a song. They had to have them doing a song. That as a songwriter, as a country songwriter, I think that's the highest compliment to have one of those guys record. And sorry, is that me?
That's right.
That's it. And Willie hasn't missed a beat. I mean, his cover of "The Scientist" by Coldplay is one of the best songs I've ever heard.
I don't know that I've heard that.
It is amazing.
So, you're talking about doing something different with a song. I mean, I always love when Willie puts out the albums where he's just covering music, because you're always going to get something totally cool and different.
Right. Well, and the dude wrote Crazy, so it's like I love that he got to a point, and as all the great ones really do, they get to a point where they're just like, I've proven that I can write a song, but there's other songs that I'm a fan of, and other songwriters I'm a fan of, and so they don't shy away from covering somebody else's tune, even though they're really, really great songwriters, and I think that's a gorgeous thing to watch.
Talking to Chris Stapleton, this first big project, you're coming out with your own stuff. Is it difficult to? I mean, because I assume, and I don't know this, that you probably have a ton of songs sitting around that you can choose from. How in the world do you whittle it down for this first taste that most people are going to get of you?
My wife is a genius and was really great at kind of filtering through it and helping me distill it into some things that she thought that maybe we should be doing. And Brian Wright as well was instrumental in helping us filter through that, and Dave Cobb. And I'm not always the greatest judge of things that I've written or things. I have things that I like to sing, but sometimes it takes me a minute to really fall in love with things that I write or feel comfortable in them. And I think that's true for anybody trying to sing a song, whether they wrote it or not. Sometimes you have to figure out how to sing it and be you in it.
It is Chris Stapleton in studio with us. When we come back in a few minutes, we'll talk a little bit more about his wife and his experience on the David Letterman show as it winds down. Don't go away. It's Tony and Chris.